Okay, gentlemen, normal stuff like first match. Just a reminder, video review, coaching, and 1-for-1. Any question? This is tails, this is head. Heads, please. Can you look this way, please? Tails, you serve. He's serving.
Adel Noor of Egypt overseeing proceedings out here. Nadal winning the toss and electing to serve. And Roger, I'm just wondering how you feel this format will go with Roger. We'll go with Rafa. Too many R's in the commentary box tonight in terms of high-quality opponents right at the start of the season, a day off to regroup, and then go again.
Yeah, I like it. I think for Rafa, you know, he gets to put his stuff out there on the match court. Then they get some time to work on whatever areas they might want to do for the next match, and also for what's ahead of the Australian Open. So I just think, regardless of what the format is, Rafa finds a model that suits his DNA, and that's the most important thing. And well, someone who's going to have to deal with his DNA is this man, Pablo Cuevas, because well, he wasn't at his very best in his first match. So let's just put that aside and park that. We know he's past his best tennis. He's at 34 years of age. He's been the key figurehead in his country who's had to put tennis on his shoulders and carry it as much as possible and bring tennis to his country audience, really, and the young kids. A good quality player, an honest player. He's going to be tested big time here because it's all going to be about what happens off Rafa's racket. Good off the ground, strong athlete, doesn't have any big weapons and plays quite conservative, I think, for someone like Rafa. He's going to have to he's going to have to redline a little bit, in my opinion.
We talk about Cuevas at 34 maybe being a little past his best, but Rafa is a man of the same generation. They were in juniors together, and he's also, yes, he represents Spain, but he's also from a very small tennis nation, Mallorca, less than a million in terms of population there, but they have produced some incredible tennis players. I think many more in the pipeline with the new Rafael Nadal Tennis Academy. Obviously, Carlos Moya not here this week. He'll be back in Spain on his computer watching everything. And Rafa just looking to get ease into this season. Difficult year last year, wasn't it? You look at the #1 ranking, you look at the 2 slams won, but he had a whole bunch of injuries, and how he came through it was sensational.
Well, I think that's the point. How do you come through it? Well, it's the mentality, isn't it? Because they've always had, this is a situation. Okay, let's deal with it. Let's actually get to the next. How do we get to the next pathway in the right way? So we'll go back to work and actually reassess with his team. He's got a very close-knit team, and then they go to business. Rafa's one of the best at parking whatever's currently happened or just happened or happening, moving on and actually getting on to the next stage. That's what I love about him, is there's always a positive and a silver lining to what's actually just taken place.
2 minutes.
33, you mentioned Sam. We talked about Cuevas, 34, probably past his best, there's no doubt about that. But is Rafa is he still in a prime window, in your opinion?
Seems to be. He's the best player in the world.
I know, it's a weird question, isn't it, when he's not right in the world?
And always looking for little improvements. I remember seeing all the data from the Australian Open at the beginning of last year, how he tweaked his serve at the end of 2018, made a few technical changes under Carlos Moya, got more out of his first serve, got more out of his second serve, was shortening the points by 1 shot, and still improving it. Man on the right, very important next to Francisco Roig, is Rafael Nadal. He is the long-term physio of Rafa, and Rafa was talking yesterday about how close their relationship is, and you know, he's the guy that he spends thousands of hours with Rafael, and he's the guy that he confides in because he just spends so much time with him. He is such an important person in Rafa's team.
Absolutely, a sounding board all the time when Rafa's going through the highs and lows, and the greatest players in the game and in sport. Listen to that noise. The best players in the sport, in any sport, they do go through they have their lonely moments. They have their times when there is their legitimate self-doubt in what they're doing because their expectations are so high. So to have long-term confidence, I think, is what makes them great as well. It's a big part of the pie that actually sits together, and he's had a remarkable relationship with everybody in his team. And it really starts with family, doesn't it? Because when you look at his family, Rafa's family, the tight-knit community that they have on that small island, but just when he's playing, you see it. They're all passionately living the same journey, and that's what I love about it. So he's one of the greats, one of the great characters, his culture, what he brings on the court, but more importantly, what he brings off the court just to everyday people.
And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that because I was just in the player restaurant, and earlier today, 2 young Georgian guys without any ranking, they won the doubles against Japan. Totally unexpected. Rafa went over to them, said well done in the doubles. He did some selfies with them. He did a video for their family, spent some time talking to them, and they were wide-eyed. He spent 15-20 minutes of his day with these young guys from Georgia. They couldn't believe it. That's Rafa. And that is not an isolated incident.
No, that's just standard Rafa. Every day, day in, day out.
The decibel level has certainly risen. Rafa's ready to go, and so are we. The second match in the tie. Team Spain taking on Team Uruguay, the number ones, going head-to-head, and it'll be the world number one to get us underway.
Ready? Play.
These two have met on 5 previous occasions. The last time was on the indoor hard at the Paris Masters at the end of 2017. That time Cuevas taking the middle set against Rafa. He has been competitive over the years with him.
Absolutely. So what are we going to see, Sam, tonight? Because that's the big question. What do you see? You played your first match for both players. For Cuevas, didn't do a lot right in his first match, so he's going to hopefully try and find some tennis rhythm. I think he'll like this match because it brings you a different type of energy element to the game. But he's going to have to go after the ball for sure when it's there. And the reason I say that is because if you don't, you know what the outcomes are. You get bullied around the court by Rafa. It's not going to sit back and passively play and work you into the game and make you feel good about things out here.
Just from Rafael Nadal is the physio, but he's been put on statistics duty. Apparently he did a very good job when Rafa was out here a couple of nights ago against Basilashvili, and so he's kept the post. I love that. Rafa certainly will be concerned just to get a little more out of his serve tonight. That was a big bone of contention, wasn't it, at the weekend, that ball wasn't really fizzing for him. He was gesticulating in the team zone as if Francesco Roy could magically get some more speed out of this court.
Yeah, and they've been working like that, as you said. They're always trying to tweak. They're trying to get some extra kilometres per hour out of the serve. But the reality was also for Rafa is, you know, the conditions weren't as warm. Tonight they're a little warmer, so we'll see. The court's got a little bit of grit to it, so it doesn't respond really quickly through the court. So there's going to be a bit of that to play in, so we'll take a little bit of notice on that. I'm also really keen, from my perspective, is to see what Rafa's court location is in his ball striking. Because normally the first game you're not quite as tuned into your locations. Match 2. Let's just see. We'll be able to get some statistics and a bit of data around that, how they compare from the first match.
Pablo Cuevas, down at 45 in the world, but was a top 20 player 4 years ago. He's won 6 titles, over $8 million in prize money. Pretty good guy when you come from such a tiny nation. Uruguay just about pushing 3 million in terms of population.
That's a great point from Cuevas. The beauty around that point is his court location, his home base positioning. He was able to sit and hold the baseline for a fair bit of that time, and that's going to be what I would be asking of him if I was sitting in his team zone as captain. Try and hold as much as you can. It's not an easy job, but it'll give you a lot better outcomes than the alternative.
He's had 5 top 10 wins in his very long career, a career blighted by injury. But he's been terrific at coming back. As a 24-year-old, he missed 2 years after having right knee surgery. The year he came back, he burst into the top 30 in the world.
Solid.
A couple of years ago, he broke his foot. Again, dropped out of the 100. Burst back into the top 40 12 months later. Didn't play. He had some very good weeks last year, Cuevas. It was a strong year, but really post-US Open went in some sort of a slump. And that's the sort of form or lack of form he's bringing into this season.
Every time that ball drops, when Rafa's trying to flight the ball nice and deep, every time it drops short, you've got to use your legs. So you've got to be quite alert visibly. You've got to have really quick anticipation. Whenever that ball comes off his racket face, it doesn't hit in a deep spot. That's a shot Rafa didn't really have dialed up on night one when he took to the court, but that's probably the best forehand he's hit so far in 220.
If you're Cuevas and you're a long way from that shot, you are near the panic button.
That's a great save on a break point to start the evening. Rafa threw everything at him, challenged a lot, went from defense to offense, then held the court. Exceptional. It was worth 1 point, Sam.
Be very worried if I was the Uruguay camp right now, just seeing the way Rafa's come out.
A lot sharper, a lot edgier with his ball striking. The ball's coming off his racket quicker, and that's what I was looking for from first match of the year compared to now. What the difference would be already is a considerable different ball off his racket.
Doesn't take the top guys long, does it? And that second opportunity in this game.
Deuce.
Just a reminder, Tennis Australia will be giving $100 in the Aces for Bushfire Relief Program. Everyone that served is another $100. Raised a lot of money so far already through this ATP Cup.
Advantage Team Uruguay.
A service game that felt like an entire set of tennis within it. Cuevas having to put everything in just to hold his opening service game. Fended off those couple of break points.
Love 15.
There's also a certain comfort level to Rafa on the court tonight. The ball up the other end has got a little bit of flight and spin, so it's got some time. So it actually gives Rafa a bit of time to get it set, get in a position. So he feels quite comfortable with that ball.
He takes your breath away.
Well, his backhand down the line here was the beauty. Look at him lean on his right side. Already in 2.5 games, has used the whole tennis court at another level. Here's a previous match just to go on with Rafa's acceleration throughout the course of from match 1 to 2, 5 kilometres more topspin speed off his forehand side. It's quite considerable.
Yeah, 5K is not to be sniffed at, is it?
Not when you're also getting that acceleration, the spin. Again, using the full tennis court. Cuevas playing really high-level tennis at the moment, matching Rafa. The reality of all this is that this is Rafa's normal. and you've got to be, you can just keep hitting the repeat button for the next 3 or 4 hours. You've got to be able to match that in the mind. Are you prepared to do that for that longer period of time?
(40-30).
It's pretty big for Rafa. 170 second serve out wide. He was going.
Certainly an awareness from Nadal of what Cuevas can do. Cuevas got that one win against him in their 5 previous meetings. Down in Rio, it was an epic. A couple of tie breaks involved. Came back from a set down to win 6-4 in the 3rd. He has a win against Rafa.
Advantage Spain.
On clay. You can put that at the top of your CV. Nice. Doesn't matter what else you've done in your career. That's in bold capitals.
That's on the first line.
Having to work a little harder in that game of world #1. But a really good opening quarter of an hour here. Spain taking on Team Uruguay. If he remains uninjured this year or with nothing too significant, what can you see him doing vis-a-vis Federer, Djokovic, and maybe some of these young guys, Tsitsipas, who are the guys that are improving so quickly?
Yeah, I still think he finishes in the top 2 in the world, top 2 or 3 in the world. So I just don't. My biggest thing when I look at it, when I look at performance in general, I'm looking at how do you engage him week in, week out, or match in, match out through the mind and physically. And if as you said, if he's physically healthy, well, mentally, then he's very inspired and very healthy, and then you've got to be able to beat that. And at the moment, even though we've got this talent pool coming up, and they're being born, and we're seeing them live unfold, they're not yet able to do that week in, week out with these guys. So I still see he sits there. You?
He's going to be there, isn't he? Just got to look after those knees.
Yeah.
Almost 10,000 in tonight. Biggest crowd we've had so far at the ROC Arena. Word has got out that Rafa is in town. Spain already 1 match up in this 3-match tie against Team Uruguay.
Love 15. Net. First service. Team spin, challenge the coil to the right baseline, Pablo Nadal.
That was interesting because it died late, and that's why Rafa's challenging this ball.
Just listen to the groan, the disappointment in the stadium.
Good mix-up. First two serves on either side went through the middle to the forehand side. That squared Rafa's standing position up a little bit, and then he threw the one into the backhand.
Huge amount of experience coming off the racket of Cuevas, has won well over 200 matches on the ATP Tour. Big wins against top tenors. Never really featured at the slams. Always had a good little mini runs at Roland Garros. But never ever into a fourth round or a second week. Disappointing for someone who's been top 20 and as good a player as he has been for a very long time.
Deuce.
It's the first ball that he hasn't found the centre of the racket with. Rafa a long way back on the first serve return so far this match. It's only a couple of service games, and he generally does do that to get a bit of a sighter. Yeah, great court position then. Nadal, he actually, when he was throwing some of those punches on the backhand side, he would actually play the shot and then square himself up and sit himself on top of the baseline, and then eventually had that ball to attack. Sam, I think that's what the greats do. Their awareness of the space and the real estate on the tennis court, they don't watch their shot. They hit the ball, they know where, then they actually move into the right spots. They actually cover the court from A to B extremely well. Another great illustration there.
Advantage, team Spain.
Another service game that must feel uphill for the Uruguayan. Rafa on the march. He means business tonight.
Team Spain leads 3-1.
Brilliant. Look at his court position there. Just steps inside the court and takes that ball. Acknowledges that he was able to do that. Great body weight transfer, and then the rest is history. I spend a lot of time sometimes just watching the feet and the movement. I take my vision, my eyes away from the court, what the shots are happening, and just look at how they move on the court. It's quite a cool tool for young kids that are playing. Just have a look at the great athletes.
Just isolate the player, don't follow the ball.
Yeah, don't even look at the ball.
Not up. 15 love.
At the end of last year, for the 5th time, he was the year-end world #1. Extraordinary achievement. First became the year-end #1 in 2008, then 2010, 13, 17, and 19. And when you're looking at consistency, when you think of all the injuries for 14 of the last 15 years, 14 of the last 15, he has finished in the world's top 5.
You wouldn't have dreamt it, would you, as a young boy?
New experience for Rafa to have Francisco Roig sitting next to him. Obviously, he's played Davis Cup on many occasions, but never with Francisco there, the man that's usually the alternate coach in the background. And he's happy to sit down because he spent 90 minutes on the bike early this morning in the gym, trying to sort of, let's say, cycle off Christmas, and he's very tired. But his man is moving along beautifully here. Second love service game.
Team Spain leads.
Team Spain pushes into a 4-1 lead in this opening set. There is this circle of trust, isn't there, around Rafa?
Absolutely, and I think any of the greats in any sporting code need that, because it must be so hard to consistently have to front up day in, day out and be that good, you know, and have because in their mind they've got no option except to be at the very top. They can't feel comfortable at 10 or 15 or 20. Well, it's not in their DNA. So to be that good, they've got to trust everything around them. They've got to know that wherever they, you know, if they're a ball in a pinball machine, that wherever they bounce and ricochet, there's a support system around them, and I think that's what Rafa definitely has.
As so many of those around Rafa have been there since he was a teenager. He was hitting with Carlos Moya, who's now coaching him from the age of 12.
And you want people there, Sam, that aren't protecting their gig. They're not protecting their job. They're there to have honesty, to have really open discussion, so there's some forward movement. They can really advance and move the needle. Not about protecting my job. I better do or say the right thing so Rafa feels good. That's not what he wants, and that's not what makes great players.
As Rafa has said, I've never fired anyone. And he hasn't. Perth tonight has come out to see this man, the world #1. Perfect evening for watching tennis. A little warm to play in, but ideal preparation for what's coming up later this month. Cuevas at 1-4 first set.
Love. Very low. Fortino.
Lost his vibration dampener. Did you play with one of those?
I didn't like it. Did you?
I didn't really like the feel of it either, to be honest.
Might have been better to leave
14,
it out.
15.
You just feel that Cuevas just having to push so hard just to try and stay in touch here. But the Uruguayan is made of resilience, strong hold. Now, Roger, you've been constantly talking about the improvements Nadal's made from match 1 to match 2. Explain what we're seeing here.
Yeah, the first match against Basilashvili, slightly different player, but still you can see behind the baseline 50% of the time in that 0 to 2 metre mark, and only 13 inside the baseline. Today it's 30% of the time he's been inside the baseline, Rafa, so very much more offensive on the ball, and I just think he's seeing the ball a bit better now that he's played that one match.
And he's just getting up the court and using that forehand, which is not good news if you're from Uruguay.
Team Uruguay trying to call it the left service line. Ball is in.
Adel Noor of Egypt's in the chair tonight. He's a very peaceful, kind of soulful kind of guy.
15 down.
These two doing really well for the Aces, for the Bushfire Fund program. That's 9 between them.
Well, that's outstanding. Again, it was a forehand, but it's not about the speed of it. It's, as I said, it's all about location for me. Once they've dialed their location in,
Correction. Team Spain is requested for video review, challenging my
good call by Rafa, using the video review system. So, because if the call was after the hit from Cuevas, then that point should count for Rafa. So that's what they'll be listening to, I think.
Yes, if you haven't seen this, this is a new innovation by Tennis Australia for the ATP Cup. It's a video review. They get 3 per set.
After watching the video review, the call came late. Point for Team Spain.
There we go. Cuevas wants to challenge now the service location. Was it in or out?
So the video review is for judgment calls. Umpire Noor needed a second look at that. We've been calling for it for a long time.
Always first is the review, and then is a challenge.
Well, that's what I expected from you, but you look happy with the call.
No, not happy. I'm waiting for the review. Yeah, of course.
Well, he was a little slow to the punch, wasn't he? He could have challenged straight off. He felt that ball. If he felt the serve was long, I'm being told unofficially that the ball was in. But very smart use. There we go. Confirmation from Hawkeye. Very smart use from Rafa. He's got the hang of this video review. Having said that, he's got the hang of most things, has Rafa. When it comes to a tennis ball or even a football. Not quite so good at painting, though. More of that a little bit later. Well, he's just striding around this RAC arena. in complete command. And Team Spain extends their lead, 5-2 first set. Let's talk all things technical. Video review. Much needed, you like it? What are the wrinkles?
No, I love it. I just, and it will take a bit of time for players to understand when to use it and how to use it and why. You know, so they've got, if they know the detail around it, I think they'll love it, because anything we can bring to the tennis court that takes away that uncertainty, because there are, as you would have seen over the years, some matches have been decided by the human error, unfortunately.
Foot faults, double bounces.
Absolutely, and I think we're in the age now where we can actually tidy all that up, and then we just get real results. And you know, we've seen some big matches decided, or big events decided on unfortunate incidents, and that just tidies that up. It saves the umpires as well, you know, because they're just out there doing a job. It's a pretty hard job, Sam, being on the line.
Would you want to be
big
there?
Big games and a Grand Slam final or anything, and having that sort of tension, because you can't help but be involved in that environment. So I think it's a great tip. And
ultimately, umpires, they're not actually that worried about being wrong.
No.
They just want to get the right call. Watch this.
Time.
Well, Nadal, a ball of energy in the team zone at the change of ends. Prowling. Agitated, wants to get on with this. The good news for the fans here, whether he will play or not might depend on the length of this match, but down to play doubles after this one with Pablo Cuevas.
The other part of the environment tonight is that it's warmer, 22 degrees, so the ball's got a little bit more going on. It's got a bit more bounce to it. Humidity is in the air, 50%, around that sort of number.
Is it really? It does feel.
So they're slightly different conditions. The humidity could make it a bit deader, but it's... But there's a lot of life and jumpiness on the tennis court at the moment. Courtesy of Rafa's energy, but also what it's doing once it lands.
What, please?
We talked about the team zones and how beneficial they've been. The advantage Rafa's got is that that's been his world all day since he started. I mean, the Spanish contingent travel around the world and they seem to support each other. They love each other's success. It's a big community, a travelling community all throughout the course of the ATP Tour season.
And he should go to the video review, but he's too downhearted. Pablo Cuevas, it's been a sobering 40 minutes for him. The Spanish bull is raging, and it is Team Spain that take the opening set by 6-2. Well, Pablo Cuevas really struggled against Nishioka at the weekend. Only picked up one game in a 54-minute loss. And he hasn't really picked up too much here. And Roger, a very clean set of numbers for Rafa.
Yeah, it's extremely clean. Look at the unforced errors, 3. So he's been very nasty, hasn't he? He's not giving away a lot. 13 winners, a lot of them with the forehand, but he's also had those off the backhand side as well. As I said, it's more about, 5 aces as well. That's a good number for Rafa in one particular set. We've seen that from Cuevas, but it's more about for me, Sam, all about the direction of the ball, where he's actually hitting the ball. That was a forehand, deep, direct down the line, and off his backhand side as well. And also his movement patterns. His movement patterns were a lot more elite than we saw in the his first match that he played. So everything tonight really piecing together.
Not up.
Word has certainly gone round in Perth that the ATP Cup is here and very much here to stay, and this is the hot ticket to see Rafael Nadal. It's a city that loves its sport. It's the Perth Wildcats play here in this arena. They have Aussie rules, cricket.
I had a lot of people through the streets today, Sam. I walked here and they came and asked about Rafa, and and they wanted to know when he was playing. They also, they also talked about, I talked to a lot of people about the other teams that have been here as well, because they've seen some new names. They've seen some other youngsters turn up. I mean, we've seen the way Norway have presented themselves, outstanding.
So Rafa going well here, start of the second set.
So here are the options, Sam. So if you're Cuevas, his ball striking's been a whole new level than he was in his first match. So that's a big tick. He's been involved in a lot of points here during this match. Rafa's played at a high level at 6-2. Do you just continue on and be happy with what you've got, or do you just step out of your shoes a little bit and redline a bit of this tennis match? So maybe try and take the court away a little bit by forcing yourself a bit tight to the baseline. Throwing in a few serve volley points, just a little bit of variety, just to tweak it a little bit, just to see whether you get any payback. And the reason I say that is there's nothing lost by that experimentation. But at the moment, if you just continue on, well, you know generally what the outcome is. So I would rather experiment in match, live time, and get a little data around it.
Rafa on track for his 4th love service game. And he doesn't disappoint.
First game.
Spanish team came in about a week ago now, and obviously they've practiced extremely hard. It wasn't always easy. It was very windy. I mean, it generally is here, but there have been some afternoons where it was very hard to practice, but they've put in the hard yards, but they've also got out and they've been to the beach and they've enjoyed themselves. So I think the Spaniards are very good at combining, work hard, play hard. And you're right, Rafa protected by all those Spaniards. Feli Lopez, who's a few years older than him, that have been with him since he was a teenager.
Not a bad front row seat if you're a Spaniard tennis player.
So much excitement, this man playing in Perth for the very first time. And not too much to be upbeat about here for Cuevas. Important game.
And Cuevas really, I mean, you look at his rap sheet, his numbers, and they're pretty good. He's serving 68% for the match. He's winning 70% of first serves. Again, outstanding position there at the backhand from Rafa, but where it gets diluted is in his second serve. It doesn't have as much energy on it. It allows Rafa to set up and actually control the way that point's going to be dictated. It's only 18%. So that was the ball there. Got a short ball, three-quarter court with time. You'd hit that and come into net and ask Rafa to pass you if he does. Too good. He didn't.
Few people may wonder, why is Rafa here once again playing for Spain, a team event at the start of the year? Well, he's the world's best player, and there's a lot of ranking points at stake. If he was to win all his potential six matches, that's the same as making a Masters final. It's more points than making a semi-final of a slam.
Yeah.
And at the moment, he is 900 points ahead of Novak Djokovic at number 2 in the rankings. Between them, they are over 3,000 points ahead of Roger Federer, where he's sitting.
Brilliant.
So he's here for the love of country, but he's also here hunting down valuable points. The sound of the ball off his strings tonight, very different from at the weekend.
Almost pulled off a miraculous shot. As you said, the sound, and then marry that up with, which has allowed him to do that, is his movement patterns, his ability to acknowledge what ball's coming to him, the flight, the speed, and the way he moves and takes time away and gives himself that opportunity. It's been exceptional tonight.
Rafa hasn't even hit anywhere near top gear, and it's yet another break. Utter domination of the Uruguayan number 1. Did you know that Uruguay produces 95% of its electricity through renewable sources, through hydro energy and such the like, and wind parks? Isn't that extraordinary?
I do now.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I was reading about that.
It's outstanding.
Yeah. Probably might struggle a little if the population has suddenly doubled or tripled, but for 3 million, it can do it.
Wait, stop. Team Spain, shutting the coil in the right knee side line, balls come in. Love 15.
Don't often see that, do you, from
Team
Rafa?
Spain has 2 challenges remaining.
Cuevas needs something very quickly here. Otherwise this match is away and the tie.
Been waiting for the serve volley. Tried it a couple of times. The return didn't cross the net, but
59.
it's something I feel like we're going to see a little bit more of in 2020. This shot, this swinging serve. Again, it's about just finding another element.
Net. Second service.
One thing we know about Rafa is he doesn't like to feel comfortable about his game. And I say that in a way that he's always looking to keep progressing, to advance, to add more. What can I add more? How can I actually move the needle a little bit more in my game, regardless of what I've done in the past?
30-15.
Yes, I think what we find extraordinary is how unaffected he is by the fact that he's won 12 times in Paris. He's not thinking about that when he steps on the court this year in June or end of May.
It's like he's playing his very first French Open.
That's how he plays every match. First time Cuevas has won points against Rafa's serve since the 3rd game of the match. It's been immaculate from the world number 1.
Net. Go service.
Well, this shot here didn't really find its mark at all during his first match, but from the opening game, his forehand has been on.
A couple of clever little sorties forward for Nadal, and that scoreboard keeps ticking in the right direction for Team Spain. Rafa leading by a set and 3-love. Well, it's my first time here in Perth, the capital of Western Australia. And this is one of the good spots, isn't it, down at Elizabeth Quay?
It's one of the great spots, and Perth, not only is Elizabeth Quay fantastic, and we see there, we're lucky enough to be in one of the hotels, just
I don't get brought cocktails like that in the evening. No, come on, Roger.
Do you eat as much as that as well?
You need to step up. Well, no, that looks like Grothy's dinner, doesn't it? No, it's a stunning evening tonight. Very calm, lovely and warm. You can sit out in a t-shirt. Get some sweat into the body for the players in terms of getting used to some of that Melbourne humidity. And feel like this ATP Cup can, I hate this expression, but it does tick a lot of boxes for preparation.
It does, there's no doubt. I just think, you know, they're playing matches that are passionate. You know, there's so much. So the energy, the mental energy, the stimulation around that as a group is outstanding. And I think to do that in the first week of the year with your countrymen after a pre-season, there's something pretty cool about that as well. Good chance to interact with the coaches as well and actually talk through things as well. So again, it's you know, I'm not going to use what you did.
Oh,
don't like.
I can't believe I used that expression, but I was stuck.
Team Uruguay, please, I call time.
Well, Rafael Nadal at every change event has been very quick to get up from his team zone. Cuevas staring down at almost mission impossible here at love 3, second set.
That was different, went for a serve volley point. Perfect.
Love 15.
I think this shot here, this forehand down the line, is one of the best shots in the history of our game that we've seen, isn't it? When Rafa's on.
And we're seeing it a lot tonight. He was just keeping it. He didn't use it a lot at the weekend. And when he did, the margins were much bigger. I'm afraid I've got some very bad news for, even worse news for Pablo Cuevas, because last year Rafa was so dominant against one-handed backhand right-handers. He played 15 of them, and he only lost twice, to Federer at Wimbledon and to Tsitsipas in Madrid on the clay. Not sure that'll be enough to lift the gloom.
No, but a good hold, found some first serves as well, and that's really the key. You've got to at least be able to deliver in that department.
Love.
Some lovely reaction.
15-all.
Well, he had to hit some big blows, didn't he? That was the finish. Hit 3 really big shots. Didn't come in off the first 2 where he had opportunities. That was a good result. He doesn't often serve volley on the first court, Rafa, but again, experimenting, using, being able to put it into live action, the things that they're working on the practice court.
Is he actually running through a few things here, taking a few chances because he's so much in control?
Well, I think you've got to do it under match conditions as well. You've got to put yourself out there and see what it feels like. There's another one. So, you know, so if you're going to put it out in the practice court and you're looking to tweak your game but not prepared and you're going to play safe on the match court, there's not much, there's nothing, it's not worthwhile. Because you've got to learn and get a gauge of what it feels like under pressure.
Just shows you the level that Rafa plays at. I mean, Cuevas is 45 in the world, a very good player, won titles last year, has been top 20, and Rafa's experimenting against him.
Well, and that's not being...
it's not being disrespectful.
No, it's not. He's just, Rafa's just needs it. That's what he's trying to find out whether that's giving me right results.
Second serve.
Well, that's taken Cuevas 61 minutes. And a couple of swooshes of that Uruguayan racket. He's rolled the dice a little out here in this game. It's paid off for Cuevas. What a chance here to get back on serve in this second set.
Another great serve out wide, 162. About perfect pace to allow the movement of the ball of the left-hander and the angle. So if Cuevas needs to he should have identified this now from Rafa and actually sort of step in the way and take away that shot.
Has that play come straight from the practice court? Break point down, this is what I'm going to do.
And he's done it before throughout the course of his career, obviously, but a little more now.
Advantage, Team Spain.
He wins points in so many different ways, doesn't he? So many layers. The fabric of his game has become extraordinary. Remember that kid I saw playing at the US Open for the first time against Yunus Alanui on an outside court, and he didn't have much of a serve and had this huge forehand, big heart. You knew he was going to be great. Luciano Lopez, bottom right of your picture, the unmistakable curly hair. I wonder if he's a little more ready to play doubles at the last moment today than he was at the weekend, because he certainly was so surprised when Rafa suddenly said, no, I'm not going to play. I wonder if he's actually done some stretching, because he was struggling in the first few games.
Look at the amount of forward movement. That's outstanding. Yes, he had good court position, but he had to come in off it to a slow-moving ball towards him here, Rafa. And he gave that ball all the respect that it deserved. Look at that, head down, stayed on the ball. Beautiful. Great attention to detail.
The beat goes on. Another game goes Rafa's way, and Spain fully in command now at a set and 4-1.
Spain leads 4-1.
Now, Roger, we've been looking at all the problems being a single-hander causes Cuevas out here. Talk us through what we're seeing.
Yeah, well, Rafa obviously offers you a different trajectory, Sam. So with his topspin ball, so he flights it and he kicks it off the court. So here's Cuevas' normal hitting position, the red dots there. That's where Cuevas likes to hit his backhand round. That's his comfort zone in his pocket. Tonight he's 74 centimetres above that to try and get that. So it takes away out of his power zone, and also from there he'll feel like he'll need to do a little bit more because he feels a bit uncomfortable. So that's a really, mentally, that's a difficult transition for any player with a single-handed backhand. So you also got to work out with that, do I step in a little closer to take away that bounce? And that's why I was saying you need to push yourself on the baseline. You've got to force yourself on the baseline when you play Rafa, so you can at least absorb a little bit of that height of a ball flight.
Amazing, these discussions. Francesco Roy, very good player, back in the day in his own right. Won many titles in doubles, decent singles player as well. Fourth day's play at the RAC Arena here in Perth, Western Australia. Group B have been playing today. Japan, Georgia, Spain, Uruguay. No one can qualify yet for Sydney. The goal for Rafa is to get 6 matches. So if they make it to the final 8, which will begin this Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Sydney, it's really possible. But 3 matches guaranteed for Rafa. Still some work to do over the next this evening and the next few days for Spain, who are the favourites to qualify. They're the Davis Cup champions.
Cuevas played a pretty good point there, but again, he's not identifying the fact when he does get Rafa in awkward positions to just try and step in, take that extra step forward and save a metre of real estate. It'll give him a completely different picture of the next option in front of him. And up the other end, We have the Spaniard who's in tune totally with what shots, what movement patterns he needs once he's hit a certain shot.
Cuevas facing yet more break points. Combined ace tally between the two up to 15. More money in the for the aces for bushfire relief program. It's been a good night. Rafa really has been in the mood since ball one. And a fourth break of the Uruguayan serve.
5 games to 1.
Another fabulous season in 2019, despite all the injuries. A winner in Rome, both on the court and off the court. That's where he proposed to his now wife, Siska, and married a few months later. Champion once more in Paris, triumphed in Montreal, and then a few weeks later picked up his 4th US Open. And it looks as if he's picked up from where he left off last season. Serving for the match. And to win the tie for Spain.
Love.
Sometimes you just shake your head.
It's just another detonation of brilliance, isn't it, from the racket of the Spaniard. Yes, the scoreline is one-sided, but I promise you, everybody here is rapt watching this man. You can just feel all the eyes on Rafa, all the attention, watching his every move, and there's lots of little moves that he makes.
They've gathered momentum over the years.
Before he's even hit a ball. Well, the world #1 opened up with a love service game. And looking here to finish with a perfect report card. 3 match points for Team Spain. Rafa wraps up the tie for Team Spain, and he does it in style. Less than an hour and a quarter. Another convincing win, 6-2, 6-1. Roger, he makes it look so easy, but an awful lot went into that performance. And we were talking, and you were talking from the start about how many levels up he's gone from his opening match against Basilashvili. What did you see out there that you really liked?
Oh, they'll be ecstatic by that. As I said, I think he was sharper in every department. His energy is always the same, but I think just his direction of ball striking, his movement patterns were outstanding tonight. It was really a pretty flawless display, really. And I think there'll be a big smile. He tried some more things as well. So collectively, a great package tonight.
Well, here's Rafa. He is with Casey.
Well done. Pablo, he's a tough competitor, an experienced competitor, but another win for you, second win to start the season. You must be really happy.
Yeah, have been, I think, a great match. I played better than the other day. Have been a very positive victory against an opponent that I have a lot of respect. Yeah, super happy now with this victory. We were able to win another tie. Now become the doubles. That is another important point, because winning the doubles, we will have a lot of chances to be in the quarterfinals if we win two ties, three love. So let's try to make that happen.
No, absolutely. And you love the doubles, don't you? I saw you out here after your match the other night, coming out and supporting your teammates.
Yeah, well, in this competition, the doubles become a very, very important point now. And I don't know, I have to speak with my team, but probably today I'm going to be on court.
And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but you actually are the first player to ever be world #1 in 3 different decades. I think the question is, what is the secret? And I guess what keeps you motivated every day to just keep wanting to be better?
Well, that's the only thing that means that I am very old. But yeah, I really enjoy what we're doing. I feel very, very lucky person to enjoy all the experiences that the tennis allow me to enjoy, and I can't thank enough everybody on the crowd today, on the stadium, and everybody around the world, because honestly, because of these very special feelings when you are on court in front of great crowd supporting, that's why one of the reasons that you wake up every single morning and you go on a practice court with the right attitude, with the right passion, and with the clear goal to improve something.
Yeah, we've been so fortunate to watch you over all of these years. And just lastly, just before we congratulated Roberto on his wedding, and I think Perth would like to also congratulate you on your wedding in 2019.
Yeah, 2019 have been a very special year for different reasons, and yeah, after 15 years with my girlfriend was not another chance to finally make that happen.
Well, we congratulate you. It's been a huge 2019. We're so excited to have you here in Perth, and congratulations.
Thank you very much, guys.
There's no one like him. He's an extraordinary man on court and off the court. Siska, his wife, is here, but she is so private and so low profile, never wants to be in the limelight at all, and that's just the way Rafa likes it. It was so good tonight. And let's hope we get him out here in a little while for the doubles. That really would be a treat for this Perth crowd, and it's a treat, isn't it, every time we see him play and every time we hear him speak. What an example to young players, how humble he is, how much he still enjoys this sport. And he said a whole load of tennis balls, but it doesn't matter for him, does it?
No, look, he's a gift to the sport, there's no doubt about that, and what I love is that humble, and he understands the position that he's in. He also understands the give back policy, you know, or it's an unwritten sort of rule that he goes by, that it's about giving, like what he does now, the amount of autographs. A lot of the players do a great job. These guys go way and above what the expectations are, and that's the beauty of it, and it's in their natural DNA. They just know that's what this game comes with, and that's how I represent the sport, and I want to be known to giving back more than what the sport's actually given me. And then when you look at these statistics, I mean, the big thing is for me that and it showed why Rafa was really happy with the way he played tonight. Was big winner count, real minimal with the unforced errors, 8, and that's the beauty of those two numbers and the variety that he showed in his game. Yes, he had precision and direction and movement, which I thought were the 3 ones that I wanted to tick off on, and I saw that tonight. So, but also he had a little bit of variety. He added all the things that he's trying to work on as well, Sam. So that's a massive tick for him tonight.
Yeah, an ideal workout for Rafael Nadal. He takes Spain to the tie, 2-0. They beat Uruguay. The doubles is to come.